Hi everybody, so welcome to our third video, and in this video I'll be showing you how to paint this particular flower, which is the ginger flower, bunga kantan, which is a local flower. So we'll be painting a lot of these type of flowers throughout this production. Now what's interesting about this flower and how it differs from the previous leaves that we were doing is because this flower is interesting because it has a gradation, which I want to show you how I'm going to do. Now, this one step I'm slowing down because, or putting it at normal speed because I want to show you guys what I usually do in practice whenever I'm painting. I have, of course, my photographic references. Now that's very crucial, but I also open up a window, which I went to the top bar, the menu window, and open up a new window that allows me to have a smaller window and gives me a clearer picture of how the whole illustration looks like. And I keep this window all the time on my desktop because I would like to always see how the entire painting looks like, and that's very crucial because sometimes when you zoom in and out too much, or rather you zoom in too much, you start painting in details that are not really picked up or perceived. So this gives you a very good kind of overall picture constantly as you are painting. Um, so right now I'm using the first brush, as you can see, to do some sketches just to get the shape out, and I'm not going to do those full bloom ginger flowers. I'm just going to do a simple one which is partially blooming out, and I'm getting the shape here, erasing off bits of details that I feel I do not need, cleaning up the shapes. And I think I've got it right now. Yeah, just a little bit more cleaning up. And one error that I did do in this practice was that I actually drew the sketch on the research layer together with the photographs, but that's kind of a small boo-boo, but try not to do that. Try to make a new layer for your sketch. Now I created a new layer which I call layer 1 right now to paint in the base color, and as you can see I'm using the second brush to create the first colored layer. Yeah, so based on the previous videos, you would know that there are two ways to actually do this. You could use either the pen tool to create a path for it, or you could hand paint like what I'm doing now for this video. Okay, so I'm color picking off the photographs, and as you can see I color picked the green as well as the midsection of the flower, which was a little bit of a beige or a white color, but I think I wasn't too happy about the color that came off in the center, which is a bit of brownish yellow. So what I did now is I took a larger brush, and you can see I'm applying the white that I do want, the light pink, and I'm color picking a bit of a dark pink for the tip, because I noticed that with this flower there's a little bit of an intense pink. So I'm using the feathered brush just now to create that light gradient, and then going back to the texture brush, the fourth brush, to create that graininess. Right, so yeah, this is where I actually realized I drew my sketch on the wrong layer, and I needed to lower the opacity of it so that I can now actually see the outline and clean that up a little bit more. Yeah, because I found that it's a little bit too gritty. As much as we want a gritty outline, we do not want it to be too messy. So the shape still needs to be quite clean, and the edge of the objects need to be still quite clean. Okay. So now the ginger flower has some interesting details, as you can see. This white little, kind of almost little white patterns at the edge of the leaf. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm using a lasso tool and then using a bit of white to get that detail in, yeah, at the edge of the petal. So there's one, and another one. Okay, and I'm still doing it all on the same layer, the inside. And now I'm bringing down the brush, shrinking it a little bit more, and using a darker pink to outline the top bit. Okay. And for the outline, the dark, because this is quite a peculiar plant, the gradation changes color as you go down the stem. So I'm just going to use a dark pink for the top bit of the flower, which is the bloom itself. But as it descends down the stem, I actually have those lines taper off. So do remember the quality of line, you need to maintain that in your illustrations. Try to have some nice thick and thin of lines so that you can feel the force within those objects or in those lines. So it tapers off as it goes down the stem and turns green. And I'm done with the top now. I'm going to color pick that green and kind of choose a darker green. I'm actually went back to the picture to check how the leaves are or how the stem is, if there's any texture on the stem. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to outline the stem and going on the other side. And right now, yeah, you see, as I go up, you can see I'm trying to taper the green and I'm adding in just a little bit of details on those stems because that's what you see in those photographic images. So yeah, always have photographic images because you never know what kind of details that you'll see in an object. So I'm going to add a little bit of kind of ornate the flower a little bit with those dotted lines so that there is a consistency in terms of the style. All right, so I'm going to do a cleanup before I conclude this image. What I'll do is I'll have a layer for line work and one for color. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of this video. It basically uses the same techniques as we did before in the other two videos. Alright, so our next video will be an interesting one because it's how to paint characters.